The city of Freiburg in Breisgau, the fourth biggest city of Baden-Württemberg's land, has been for countless years engaged in partnership with other cities. We can namely talk about the urban area of Guildford, which is the most important township of Suisse County in England, the Tyrol's land capital in Austria, Innsbruck, as well as Besançon in France. The Wales House was built in the 16th century. Before its building, it happened to have already been an establishment at that place, of which some of the walls were preserved to be part of the new edifice. The unusual name of the residence, according to the historian Peter Kalteler, is supposed to be a reference to the Holy Bible, and more precisely to the story of Jonas and the whale in the Old Testament. The corn house was built around 1500 for the oncoming of the Kaiser Maximilian I to the Reichstag of 1498. The edifice was originally thought to be a ballroom. Nevertheless, the building wasn't completed at that time, and so the meeting took place somewhere else. The building was later used in many fields of activities, going from a theater to a corn storage, passing by a cafe and a cultural place. The Freiburg Minster was built in three steps. The first phases of building start in 1120, the second in 1210, and to finish the last one took place in 1230. The city of Freiburg found itself distracted at 90% in 1945 because of the French bombarding. The Minster didn't escape to this destruction's wave, knowing that nowadays only its foundation remains original. The Calf House was originally a market. It was more precisely the first market that the city knew. Later on it became the headquarters of the municipal administration of market, of customs and finance. It has also been used as a storage room for goods. On its facade are represented the Kaiser Maximilian I, the King Philip I, the Kaiser Karl V, as well as the Kaiser Ferdinand I, from right to left on the pictures. The Konviktstrasse may not be the biggest street of Freiburg, but what is sure is that it's one of the most beautiful. Ended, with his wisterias, his whole building, and his colored facades, the street can only fill with wonder. We find, moreover, all through it, diverse symbols and highly interesting names such as, for instance, the Schwarze Katze, the black cat. The Schwaben Tower, Schwabentor, is one of the doors that allowed people to enter the city back in the Middle Ages. We can see on the external part of this one a representation of St. George, the patron saint of the city of Freiburg, and this under the guise of a dragon center. The tower, as for it, was added and expanded years later. In this one, we can now find a small private museum that was opened in 1965. The historians successfully proved that some elements of the Martin's Gate date back to the 13th century. They also know that it had been rebuilt lots of times and that it was once used as a prison. Nowadays, many people complain about the American fast food chain restaurant that stands in the surroundings of the structure, calling it sometimes the McDonald's Gate.